Once upon a time in Hollywood, the Lakers, they looked to even their series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's how it went down last night. Watch Luka Doncic here. He always goes for a heat check. Isn't that what Tim Legler says in the first quarter? It looks like that was his one right here. Pulling up from range. Oh, is that a sudden little look away? Does that remind you of any other all-time great in the NBA?
A guy named Larry?
Hey, after the shot, I look at the bench. I know what's going to. I did my best sacrifice.
You guys be the judge. What do you think? Look anything like Steph Curry there?
Steph
would have run down a court already.
Well, Luka did have 16 in the first quarter here. He outscored the Timberwolves by himself, really set the tone here, Michael Wilbon, and then LeBron James pulls up for a deep three.
This is what the Lakers had to have, and they couldn't wait to halftime to get it.
But every single time, Mark Spears, that this matchup, that Rudy got switched onto Luka, the entire arena started to erupt.
Yeah, shades of last year, Western Conference Finals, Rudy's nightmare.
Sinead's going to have a breakdown on that very matchup in just a little bit.
That's
Jack Black
right
is loving it. Luka Doncic, once again, going to work. Another dime, this time to Dorian Finney-Smith.
The role players, right? It's all about the role players. Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent.
But Doncic, he did become just the third Laker with 25-5 in a playoff half since 1997. So to the third we go. Anthony Edwards, you know he needed to make himself known in this game. Look out below.
That's known, posterized, known.
I screamed with the step. I was sitting next to Wilbon, and
I got an elbow imprint.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Malika still from last night with Spears on that dunk.
In the fourth quarter here, 5.5 to play. The Lakers up by 9 here. Austin Reeves finds a cutting LeBron James inside here for the layup. LeBron trying to get that burst, that lift back here. And then keep an eye on LeBron right here. Hunts down Anthony Edwards, gets the steal, takes it for the layup inside. Doncic and James combine for 52 in the win. Here's LeBron James. Looked tired after that game.
I mean, that's what it's going to take. They play hard as hell. We got to play hard as hell. They play with a lot of intensity. We got to match their intensity. So, man, it's going to be like this all series. You're not dog-ass tired after this game. After any of these games, then you didn't give it all you had. So that's what it's about.
Me and Bron, leaders of the team, we got to keep the team together. Like I said, going into to Minnesota is going to be a war. The fans are going to be cheering like crazy. So no matter what, we can't panic. We got to stay together, and that's on me and Bron to keep the team together.
One difference that stands out from the box score, the Timberwolves shot 5 of 25 on threes after making 21 shots from distance on 50% shooting in Game 1. They were also out-rebounded by 7 in Game 2 after winning that battle of the boards by 6 in Game 1. So, gentlemen, all of us were in Crypto.com Arena last night, and we all huddled up, and I asked this to you as the game was ending, and we said we needed to get this on the show tomorrow, because when, Mr. Wilbon, there is a huge swing like this, a team wins by double figures, and then another team comes back and clobbers them the next game. What do you take away from this? How do you look at Game 3? What are the through lines?
But that's playoff basketball.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been. That's what it's supposed to be. I asked J.J. Redick late last night, walking out, about the rhyme and rhythm of playoff basketball, and if he finds that it has changed at all from his days as a player. And J.J. immediately went to series where it was 1-1, where you had somebody really play in a dominant fashion in Game 1, and oh, wait, it changed in Game 2. The back and forth is what playoff basketball is. There's nothing to be concluded from last night. Nothing.
Physicality. That's what my biggest takeaway last night was, is that the Lakers kind of imposed their will. They were a desperate team. They were physical. We saw a lot of whistles in the first half, not a lot of whistles in the second half here. I think the biggest question is that when we get to a Game 3, who the officiating crew is going to be, because it's different every game here, and it changes here. But this is how they're going to have to play. They got to muck it up. They got to make it. I don't know if they're going to be in the 90s every night, but it's going to have to be physical. It's not the Showtime Lakers. It's got to be, the team that was best defensive
Real quickly,
team.
Bobby, we don't expect to see a pattern. If the pattern is anything, we expect Minnesota to counter and go back to playing closer to the way they played in Game 1.
Well, but can they hit that many threes?
I felt a lot better when I woke up this morning if I was a Timberwolves fan than I was a Laker fan.
Why?
I feel like when they get back home and Anthony Edwards gets rolling, it loosens a lot of things up here. And can the Lakers do this for 5 more games, competing at this level? That's kind of my concern.
I heard from the coach yesterday, Chris Finch, and Chris Hine, one of their great reporters, questioned him about how the Timberwolves ran out and didn't feel like they gave the needed effort. He's like, no, we were sweating. We gave the needed effort. We just got our butts kicked. But there's one guy that hasn't kicked their butt yet, and I know it's coming. It's LeBron James.
Oh, the glasses came off.
You know, LeBron has only scored 30 once over the last month. It was April 3rd against Golden State. And he's averaged 20 in this series. He's missed 8 of 10 three-pointers. It's coming. Julius has put that big body on him, same size guy. But, hey, I think he's going to put a crown on over these next 2 games in Minneapolis.
For me, what's really interesting, you know, you see LeBron James, his three-point shooting in this series. It's something that we've talked about as he's elongated his career, something he's added to his arsenal to help preserve his body in some ways. The three-point shooting, going from making 21 threes to only attempting 25, I think that is what I'm going to be watching very closely in Game 3. And it's not just that they missed those shots. The Lakers defended them well. And speaking of defense, I think it's time we get to our breakdown queen, Chiney Ogwumike, who saw something specifically on the defensive end that we need to dive into here. What's up, Chiney?
The playoffs are all about adjustments, and the Los Angeles Lakers, they made their move. This matchup will actually come down to this right here. Whoever is going at Rudy Gobert, and it actually might be deceptively on his side because the whole arena was going crazy when they saw Luka versus Rudy. But Rudy actually held his own. Watch this. As a defender, he's isolated. No help is coming. What does he do? He forces a long-range three-point shot. Again, they were not sending the help. They were not trying to switch. They were not double-teaming. What they did here was Rudy, he forced maybe a little bit of an off-balance shot here as well. Rudy, everyone out of their seats. They thought it was barbecue chicken, but actually the numbers might tell a different story on this possession. Look at him. He's fighting. He's active. Do you guys remember the steal he got off of Luka and got to finish on the other end? Look at this huge contest. While so many people thought that this type of situation would benefit the Lakers in the long term, Rudy actually held his own in Game 2, limiting Luka, LeBron, and Reeves to 3 of 12 shooting as their primary defender. And actually, when you think about the Timberwolves, he had the best plus-minus in the starting 5. So don't sleep on Gobert defensively. Even though the Lakers got the win, it is chess, not checkers.
It was the most isolations today that Rudy had ever defended in his career, in the playoffs or in the regular season. And the Wolves, they used 43 isolations in Game 2. A lot, Bobby? That's because it is. It's the most ISO the Timberwolves have had in a game in the 12 seasons. We have data covering both the regular season and the playoffs. Here's what Anthony Edwards had to say about losing Game 2.
Every time I caught the ball at the top, it was kind of like they was in the zone. Even when we cut guys through, they just stayed. So I got to be ready to make those reads.
How do you just feel overall about the series going back 1-1?
Feel great. We 1-1. It's nothing better to be, but 2-0. But we 1-1.
Bobby just said if he's a Timberwolves fan, he feels better than a Lakers fan this morning. You were with the Minnesota Timberwolves last night after the game. What adjustments are they going to make to take some momentum back for Game 3?
Yeah, well, Anthony Edwards kind of stole my thunder there. I think they have to make some adjustments. They're going zone. He has to make quicker decisions. But Anthony is also getting help from Julius Randle, which is a big lift for him. So if Julius can continue to do that, play at a high level, combine with Edwards, I like their chances back in Minneapolis.
19 points for Julius Randle in this one.
Ant's got to play a whole lot better, period.
Yeah.
I don't think his adjustment is be better. He had no assists last night after having 9 assists in Game 1. And he leads the way. Mark, you talked about the Lakers having a great player who you expect to step up, and of course that's LeBron James. I expect this one to step up. A year after everybody, a lot of people, me too, compared him in some respects to Michael Jordan and the impact he can have in a playoff game, the rage at which he plays. He didn't do that last night. He leads the way he has to. The Timberwolves were 9 of 12 on corner threes in Game 1. 0 for 4 last night.
Yeah, you kept.
I know that's not only Anthony Edwards. He's not the only person in that corner, even though he had a couple of them.
Yeah.
But he has to set the tone for everything they do. The Timberwolves can't have this. I don't know that that's an adjustment as much. Play better, move the ball better. They're going to have to get those. They're not going to be wide open like they were in Game 1. Huh?
Is that a Mike Conley thing?
A little bit. Mike Conley had, 1 assist? I mean, so there's got to be some ball.